Good evening, everyone. I hope all of you can hear me in person and online. My name is Mukei. I'm one of the senior students at the Village Zendo and also one of the novice Zen priests at the Zendo. And it's nice to see some familiar faces and some new faces. And so my warm congratulations to those of you in the Zendo space who are taking the opportunity for us to sit together on a very cold evening. So welcome and thank you for the space to sit. I have to confess, I really struggled with my talk tonight, and because it seems like it's about facing the wall. It's about facing the wall. And I wanted to begin with some words from Bernie Glassman, who is I would say, one of our founders at the Village Zendo, and who always emphasized the one body. And he'd say, if you get a cut on your left hand, the right hand instinctually knows what to do. The one body, the oneness of life. Bernie was later asked, what is enlightenment? And Bernie would say, enlightenment is realization and actualization of the one body. What did he mean? Bernie would say, realization is knowing that smoking is bad for your health. Actualization is to stop smoking. These words remind me of our study text this winter ongo, the study of undivided activity and birth and death. Realizing is what to do, actualizing is doing it. Dogen goes on to tell us that enlightenment is right in front of us, but I feel sometimes enlightenment is like the things we've gotta get. We gotta get. And so what I wanted to do was just share with you one of the koans that I think might help us to address what facing the wall could mean. It's taken from the book of Serenity, case 23, and the title of it is Luzu Faces the Wall. And it goes like this. Whenever Luzu saw a monk coming, he would immediately face the wall. Nanquin, hearing of this, said, I usually tell them to realize mastery before the empty aeon, to understand before the Buddhas appear in the world. Still, I haven't found one or a half. Luzu, that way will go on to the year of the ass. I was very curious about who this Luzu was. Who is this man, this monk, who whenever he saw others coming to him, he would he would face his wall, basically turn his back on them. And I found out that he was a highly respected teacher, Zen teacher. And he didn't teach like the monks at the time. His way of teaching was to face the wall. For him, that would mean that a monk would attain full realization, enlightenment. For some of us, our practice is facing a wall, but when we face the wall, what are we trying to teach? This past year and 4 weeks into a new year, we are facing a wall. How do we practice that with what is in front of us, the stuckness that is in the air? How do we respond? Some of you may know that I've worked with the Zen Peacemakers, and Zen Peacemakers for many, many years has sponsored what's called Bearing Witness retreats. Initially, it started with in Auschwitz, and then it's come to the United States and Bearing Witness to Native American, and most recently with Bearing Witness to Racism in Alabama. Whenever I've led a bearing witness retreat in Alabama. I can't tell you how many times I've met people who've said they've been on a number of bearing witness retreats. My thought is, well, that's nice. I never say that to them. That's nice, but how has that change manifested itself? There's been much discussion most recently in Buddhist communities about how do we practice, how do we become engaged in what's going on? And some would say that staying on the cushion facing the wall, we don't take a position. That's dualistic thinking. And this kind of thinking is not unique to just the Buddhist community. It's kind of seeps into other religious communities that foster the same kind of thinking. But there have been challenges from other voices. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Any religion that professes to be concerned with the souls of men and is not concerned with the slums that damn them, economic conditions that strangle them, and the social conditions that cripple them, is a dry as dust religion." Henri Nouwen, who is a prolific writer on spirituality, said that sometimes contemplative practice can be compared to gathering priceless ornaments for a morally respectable existence. Priceless ornaments, dry as dust religion. But let's go back to the one body, the oneness of life. I would like to think that our practice of facing the wall would help us to see, would help us to learn how we are engaged with the one body. Or we can also learn how we have turned our backs on the one body, on the oneness of life. I like in our recitation of the four vows, we say in the Zendo, the Dharmas are boundless. I vow to master them. But I've heard in other Zen sanghas, the Dharma gates are everywhere. I vow to enter them. I kind of like the idea of entering the Dharma gates because they're all around us. Continuing with Dogen, he writes in Birth and Death, "It is a matter to suppose that both birth turns into death." I'll read that again. "It is a mistake to suppose that birth turns into death. That birth and death is the life of a Buddha." And I like that. It's not birth or death, it's life. Or birth and death. No separation. If you try to exclude it, Dogen says, you will lose your life as a Buddha. So when we face the wall, don't analyze or speak about it, but throw yourself into it. And most recently, there have been a number of blogs by Zen writers who are asking us to really take a look at where we are right now as we face the wall of what's going on in front of us. But Dogen, I like his wisdom, has said, there's a simple way to become a Buddha. And he goes on to list towards the end of his Birth and Death, I call it a charge. Something for us to kind of measure ourselves by. He says, when you refrain from unwholesome actions, are not attached to birth and death, and are completely compassionate to all sentient beings, respectful to seniors and kind to juniors, not excluding or desiring anything, with no thoughts or worries, you will be called a Buddha. Seek nothing else. To go back to Dogen, enlightenment is right in front of us. To quote Bernie again, actualization and realization, it's right in front of us. I would like to think that when we face the wall, we learn, are we actually realizing and actualizing, or are we turning our backs and saying that's not something we do? Right now in our time, especially with we're experiencing these past year and days, we are really struggling as to what's going on. And our practice calls us even more so to become a Buddha. You are a Buddha. Again, Dogen says, be compassionate to all sentient beings, respectful to seniors, kind to juniors, not excluding or desiring anything. It's because it's all there. All we have to do is take it.